Hey guys, what's going on? Rounded Tiktak here, and do you happen to see what's on your screen right now? It's content. Something to finally cover, so here I am back at it again. Remember, if you guys want to check out the stream, we're live right now. If you saw this video come up in your feed, we're live over at twitch.tv/roundedtiktak. We'd love to have you stop by. You can win one of these. We're going to be giving them away all day. You can save your perk up, see if you guys want it, or just form your own opinion at the end of the video. So I'm going to try to be revamping my videos a little bit. We're going to be trying to cover exactly 4 or 5 points and do them as fast as we can. We're going to talk about the weapon, my opinion about the weapon. We're going to show footage, the builds, and then a conclusion. So just to make it as streamlined as possible. So let's talk about the weapon first. The V6 launcher is a brand new rocket launcher that was just released in the store last night. It is a multi-shot rocket launcher, very similar but better than the Cannonade. Now, from what I'm hearing as being part of the Save the World content creator community, this rocket launcher is getting a lot of hate, and personally I don't think it's that bad. In fact, if this is your first rocket launcher, say you got the game on sale, you're a kid, you don't have much money, and this is available in the store and you want a rocket launcher, I'd say pick it up. It's not terrible. It does have some drawbacks, and we'll talk about those in a few minutes here, but it's not as bad as people may make it out to be. It is different, and in that sense, you have to use it differently, but it's not a terrible rocket launcher that we have in the game. There are worse ones. And like I said, if this is your first rocket launcher, it's not too shabby. There are still the kings of the pile, which is the Deatomizer and the Santa's Little Helper. This doesn't come close, but for a different take on a rat rod weapon, a rocket launcher, it's not terrible. So let's take a look at the stats real quick. It's level 130, well mine is. It is rolled crit rating, crit damage, damage to affliction, and causes affliction damage. This means two things. Since it has a magazine size of 6, you can, after the second rocket goes out, you do an extra 45% damage to all targets that were afflicted with the first rocket. That's actually pretty good. In fact, mathematically, this is probably the highest consistent damage you can get in the game. Without a magazine size, without a reload speed, something on a rocket launcher, this is exactly what you want. You have an option on this second roll to make it reload speed if you want to, or impact, but I highly recommend this roll here. It adds 1 second to the reload time, but it's not too noticeable. And most likely, whatever you're shooting, unless you're doing very super high 174, 150 content, they will die within the 6 shots. Another thing to take note of here is the range, which in rocket launcher terms means the radius of the blast radius, is only a quarter of a tile. That's very small. But like I said, you have to play with this rocket launcher a little bit differently. It has decent impact for a 6-shot rocket launcher, but you're not going to be using this to knock over smashers or anything like that. You're going to be using it to kill them. That's what it does. Its DPS is actually pretty high. With the perfect build in the right scenarios, you're looking at about 1 million DPS, 1 million damage per second. With 6 rockets, with a reload speed in between there, it's not terrible damage per second. It's not the best, but it's not terrible. Like I said, if this is your first rocket launcher available to pick up, this is one you might want to grab. It's not nearly as bad as people may have been saying that it is. However, the biggest gripe here, besides the blast radius, is definitely going to be the durability. Let's talk about that. The durability on this gun is a paltry 15. That means you're not getting many shots out of this thing before it gets ruined. And if you make it 130 to do the most damage, or you're a high level player, then you're going to be burning through your efficient mechanical parts and your bright core for a weapon that's not necessarily worth it. Like I said, if you are an end game player and not new, there are 100% better rocket launchers. The Santa's Little Helper and the Deatomizer, which I'm going to compare this to the Deatomizer more than anything else. The Cannonade is terrible. This does out DPS the Cannonade by a pretty large margin. So comparing those two, I would go with this one. But The deatomizer, let's talk about that. It has, if you put a durability roll on it, around 50 shots, maybe 45, 43, something like that. And that makes the weapon a better version of this, because this weapon is meant to be kind of like a single target rocket launcher. So you have the benefit of the small explosion doing a decent amount of damage to maybe a smasher. You wouldn't really use a rocket launcher on a smasher. However, since the durability is so low, you're going to be burning through these things like hotcakes. Unlike the deatomizer, with 43 uses and the amount of damage that it does and the unique perk it has, to where technically it's not really supposed to work like this. It can go inside a smasher and then blow up, hitting him with all the shrapnel and doing serious damage. This just doesn't compare to that. So how they want you to use it, which is kind of like an off-spec rocket launcher. You're not really going to spec into a class using this. At least I would never suggest it. There's no reason, unless you have a metric crap ton of efficient and bright core you're just trying to burn through. Who here ever has played a rocket launcher loadout purposely? And on top of that, the best rocket launcher loadout there is in the game, which is on an Outlander with Enduring Machine, and you spam phase shift. You can't do it with this because it has 6 rounds in the mag. So it puts it in a weird spot. And like I said, let's talk about some builds you might want to try with this. So the absolute best rocket launcher solely build, unless you plan on playing some sort of defensive constructor, but I've never seen anybody play this ever in my 2 years of covering this game, is Demolitionist Penny. She has, as a commander, she has 50% bonus damage to rocket launchers, but that kind of pinholes you into only using rocket launchers, and you'll do crap damage with every other gun in the game. However, Rex is an interesting and unique hero where it adds to his damage on any weapon because it's ranged weapon and not like assault rifles. So you'll do extra damage with the rocket launcher, you'll do extra damage with an assault rifle, with an SMG, doesn't matter what you use. So he's very versatile in that sense. Of course, you're going to need Blast from the Past and then 2 Dino heroes. Here we have Saurian Hide and Saurian Focus, and the rest I was just toying around with. Of course, you're going to put faster explosions in here. Enduring Machine, the 8-bit perk, is not worth it as your cooldowns are kind of long. You could spam chain your grenades, but even when those are done, they are on a somewhat decent cooldown, not really too effective to bring. I have a Survivalist. You're going to be doing a bunch of damage anyway, and you'll get those heals off of it. And Resonant Frequency, this is probably the first build that I've ever put this in. And to be fair, I found a noticeable difference when using this in my build while just spamming rocket launchers. So in that case, it's not too bad. The other build you might want to try out, there are a few, but we'll cover these two, is Skull Ranger Ramirez. Locked and reloaded. After reloading, increases weapon damage and fire rate by 30, weapon damage by 15 and fire rate by 35%. Since this is a DPS rocket launcher and not a damage like per shot rocket launcher, something like the Santa's Little Helper, the fire rate definitely helps. We have Hunter Instinct here, still one of my favorite perks when there's not much else to bring. It increases your damage. It's a pretty decent perk. Again, we have Saurian Might in support here this time. Resonant Frequency, again, faster explosions, going coconut, survivalist. I was just toying around with a bunch of stuff here. You could, if you want, keep these 3 or just these 2 and then put assault rifle damage perks there so you won't be locked into only using a rocket launcher. But the main hero ability here is what you're really going after. So like I said, since it's only a rocket launcher, you could do whatever you want, but the sad and true part is that I'm probably never going to use this rocket launcher again personally, and that's only because I have everything in the game that I would like to use over it. So that's really it, guys. That is the V6 launcher. On a scale from perk it to pass it, if you're a brand new player and this is the first rocket launcher you can get, it's not bad. If you're a late game player, it's 100% pass if you don't want to spend your perk up. But then again, if you're a late game player, you probably have a ton of perk up and reperk anyway, so it's up to you. So that's my suggestion. If you're new, pick it up, use it. It'll help you on the harder missions where your base breaks, your tunnels break, and you need to clear out a bunch of husks real fast. It's good for that. However, later on in the game, or if you've been playing for a while and you have your hands on a deatomizer or a Santa's Little Helper, or even possibly the regular base bazooka, all of those probably outclass this thing pretty hardcore. If you're new, perk it. If you're an old school player, pass it on up. We showed you some builds, we showed you some gameplay. It's not as bad as people say, but it's not the absolute best in the game. And I know a lot of people like to play the absolute best. The reasons it falls off so hard is because of the blast radius only being a quarter tile. The subpar damage, although it's not terribly bad, there are better rocket launchers, and the big one is the durability. If it had higher durability and you weren't burning through these so fast, it may be more useful. I think it should have around 30 shots. So next up on the horizon, we have the Boombox Heroes and the Beetlejuice change, which is a bigger change than the Sledgehammer change because now Beetlejuice can use SMGs, which is pretty cool. Imagine running around on Beetlejuice with one of the best weapons in the game, the Silent Spectre, the Bobcat, the Hemlock, something like that. That should be fun to cover, so look forward to that. The Boombox reviews all coming back at you. We're starting to get some more content dripped into us, so there will be more regular uploads. Once again, if you're watching this video, we are live right this second at twitch.tv/roundedtiktak. We'd love to have you come by, check out the stream, join the pack, join the family. If you guys want to support the channel in any way, you can just use creator code OOTikTak00 when you buy all of your BR emotes. Thank you guys so much. I will see you on the next one and definitely see you on season 11. And remember, we do plan on covering Borderlands 3, and currently I've been playing a game called Remnant on the side. If you guys played either one of those and you want to talk about it, feel free to hit me up on the Discord. The link is in the description below. I will see you guys on the next one. Tic Tac out.